Hello, everyone. It is your old pal, SimplySuperDave, coming at you with another episode of Staying Super with SimplySuperDave. Oh, boy. Where do I begin? Well, I hope everybody is enjoying the last few episodes. I noticed the last few in particular, I have gotten a little bit more, a little bit more involved. A little bit more positive attitude, trying to really bring forth some of the very pressing issues that are going on in the world today, and more importantly, what's going on here in the country. The great United States of America, once great Roman Empire, the great American Empire. Actually, I've heard reference in other countries' parliaments or congresses or whatever refer to us as the American Empire. And I've always found it fascinating when I watch Star Wars, how the Empire was made of so many people, so many people could be evil, bad. And then if you get really into the story, you realize that the Empire was taken over from within. So it was really the leadership that was corrupted and not the people so much. Like the stormtroopers really did have dilemmas like the main character in the Disney sequels had. Gosh, I don't know why I can't remember his name all of a sudden, because it's just a letter and I can't remember that. Anyway, forget that. Okay, I know there's some Star Wars fans going, you know what, in a minute it'll pop into my head, but Poe is the pilot, and then God, I know the dude's real life name, Boyega, but I just don't know his character's Finn, fucking Finn. That's got to be it, right? Yeah, Finn. Anyway, yeah, Finn 1-8. Yeah. Anyway, at some point, you do have that moral wake-up, like Finn does in the Star Wars sequels, which I do like those, by the way. I accept art for what it is, and not what if I could do a better job, then I would be doing that, okay? So I criticize to a certain point as a fan, but at the same point, I respect the artwork too much and accept whatever is presented to me by the director or the main masterpiece presenter himself. We'll get into top, one of the final podcasts we'll be doing here for the top, these 100 episodes altogether, is that we will be discussing a couple of my favorite movies in more detail and depth. One of those movies is Fight Club. Fight Club is a very defining, that and Braveheart. Those are, if you know me very well, those are our top two movies. And there's a lot of, themes in those movies that I set deeply within me, okay? And Braveheart, of course, is all about freedom, which is what America is all about. So any story, especially old school film, then Braveheart would have been it. And that is my favorite movie of all time so far. Before, I have to go into what used to be the number one movie of all time, because it wasn't Fight Club, because Braveheart came out before Fight Club. Fight Club is a movie I've seen literally hundreds of times. Had to have the double disc DVD set. I love details. I love paying attention to details, and that's what I love about society so much. And Fight Club is all about anti-corporation, money, monetizing what you're supposed to be, the brainwashing effect about media and advertisement and TV, and just turning that all off and just becoming raw about life, and that is, and yes, the central character and the storyline is great, but I mean, the overall theme of the movie is taking everybody back to zero and being just as important as the person standing next to you, and pulling your own weight and contributing and building something. But that is a cool idea and all, but let's be honest and realistic. That's actually kind of happening now. Everything is fisting to be a dollar collapse, for example. And we've discussed that in previous podcasts before. And the digital, the digital currency that's going to, that's just that's forward progress as a society. So, I mean, we should, as a digital world that's connected by the internet, by the way, previous podcasts, we all have discussed that the internet is just the body of the beast, and the brain is being created as we speak, and that's the AI. But look at society. Why are we falling apart morality-wise? Why are we getting so into each other's business, so to speak? Because let's face it, everybody has their own rights to their own moralities and what they feel like is important to follow and do. And I respect that. Whenever you step onto a battlefield and you're about to face somebody head on, it's always better to be respectful. You know, if someone I truly hated, but I knew I had to work with them, if they walked up to me and right off the bat was respectful with me, like courteous, then I'm going to be the same way. If I walk up to someone and they are disrespectful right off the bat, then even though I will pull my weight, I will not take that extra step to make things easier on my teammate, so to speak. I believe in hard and tough love. I believe that exists in every relationship in society. I believe that failures are how you move forward. I believe that trying the best ideas and find what really truly works and not sticking to whatever the money says. And we're in a society that has been over-monetized to the point that we are literally worth money based on our data, whatever you want to call it. Either way, that has become a commodity. The number one commodity in the world, folks. Can you believe it? An intangible item is the number one commodity in the world. And it's part of the beast. It's part of the internet. That big, large thing that connects every single person on this planet that has accepted technology into their life. That is the mark. Remember, folks, previous podcasts, you haven't listened to the podcast before, I suggest you go back to the very beginning. It is an evolution and an arc to get to the point where I don't want to more explain the statements that I make. I just reference back to a different podcast because we all know that AI is the brain, the body is the internet, but the technology, the internet itself, the connection, that unification thing that brought us all together in the beginning, but is slowly tearing us apart now, is probably, can I say it's the Antichrist? I mean, does it have to be a physical being? Can't it be Christ-like? Wouldn't we think that would be God-like? And wouldn't that be the internet and artificial intelligence? Think about it, folks. We are creating our own Antichrist. And maybe it's already in control of things. And that Pandora's box is, so to speak, open. So, staying super with Simply Super Dave sounds like a fun time. And we always discuss the fun things and the issues. Either you're laughing about this really hard, but seriously in the back of your brain, as you know, and if you have been keeping up this past couple of weeks, there has been a YouTube video that I have shared, the AI Dilemma on YouTube. I suggest you seriously watch that. That was of March 9th of this year. Within a couple weeks, he was in front of Congress testifying the very same things he was talking about in that presentation, which is only an hour long. So I really endorse you watching that. It's very educational to know what you're connected to and what it's capable of doing with you. Because it's almost like everybody picks up these things and they do their thing and they think they're doing their own thing. But you're really being directed. Sometimes you'll have a whole agenda of stuff that you want to do that day, but just spending 15 minutes on this can completely adjacently change all those plans. You could get sidetracked down a rabbit hole and forget to take care of something. You know, that is the kind of thing that technology does. And if you accept it into your life, which a lot of us are forced to, because a lot of us use technology in our everyday lives. If not, at least at work, because even simple delivery guys use their phones to keep up with their inventory, make out their orders, make signatures, print out, invoices and so forth. I mean, it's integral in everyday work life. So the internet is fully integrated into our lives. And yes, you could be like those people that live out in the woods and all that kind of stuff and whatever. But I mean, let's face it, this is where we are, right? So we got to stay super about it. So that's why I try to bring awareness to things. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to make people listen to the podcast because I'm going to say something that's crazy. I mean, you might think that's all crazy, but if you really look into what I'm talking about, you'll see there is legitimate paths and stories that are done by credible sources, whatever's true today, or whoever is credible today, that talk about these very things. Dig it on your own. Remember, you have the apple of knowledge right there in your hand, folks. And let me talk about something real quick about the morality issues. It's not so much about the morality issues, but you fucking new generational people have to realize you need to mind your own fucking business, okay? Because if you live in a place of freedom is the main priority, okay? Because without that freedom, you can't be your lovable, weird, fucked up self, however special you might think you are. You wouldn't be able to be that fucking special if it wasn't for the fucking freedoms. But you live in a country of mixed pot. You got people of all different cultures and backgrounds and horrible histories and shit like that, all mixed together here with one bountiful universal thing: freedom. To be their lovable, traditional, weird, fucked up selves. However they've been brainwashed in whatever part of the world they came from. Or the part of the world you're from. Because a lot of us here are just fucking Americans. People that were born here. I don't care what color you were. If you were born in this country and raised in this country, in this society, in the public schools, you're a fucking American, okay? All right? That's all I'm saying. And I don't care what you do at home, where you poke your thing, or where you let people poke you. I don't care. If you want to go out wearing a dress and, or a pair of jeans, regardless of whatever sex or gender you are, that's completely up to you. Is it everybody else's business? No. And that's where I have the issue. Why in the fuck do I need to know this about people? Why I don't care if you are straight. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're trans. You're not your sexuality. You're not your movement. You're not your race. Okay? You were born that way. This is what you were given. It wasn't like you got to pre-select it. You know your history just because of your color. Okay? I don't know my fucking history. People tell me my history because I'm white. So obviously everybody else knows. And I don't. Because I don't give a fucking shit. Because I was raised in Louisiana in the United States of fucking America. I wasn't from fucking Scotland or Ireland. And I certainly didn't have any fucking slave owners as fucking, maybe I did, and we just fucking went bankrupt or something and lost all our slaves. I don't know, because that sounds like it would go right down the family path for me, because my family came from poor, I'm still poor to this day, but poor in America is a fucking luxury, okay, compared to other places in this fucking world. And I just love listening how people bitch and complain about how other people need to fucking... It's insane. And no, we don't have a gun problem. There's just as many people that have guns, if not less, because there's a lot of people that don't believe in them more than they used to. But it's a people mental problem. And we're letting this social platform tear us apart. Like I said, it brought us all together at first because, whoa, we're connected. We can communicate. We can talk about important things. We can take care of things. We can make this work. Now we're to the point where we're ripping each other apart just because we share a thought or a feeling. My grandmother said it best. If you ain't got something good to say, then don't say anything. I think that's a very good wise thing to go by, for sure. The older generation, for certainly, had a lot of morality and a lot more code. Wouldn't do this in public. My generation was Generation X. My generation was raised by the Boomer generation. And the Boomer generation did not give a fuck, okay? These people were party fucking animals all the fucking time. And they worked their asses off. It's like they were a mix of rebellious, I'm going to party my ass off, and then I'm going to go to work the next day and work my ass off. And then they've had it mixed together. You know, you used to be able to go to a construction site, and by the end of the day, everybody was drunk. But man, everything was built. Maybe a few crooked nails here and there, a few missed ones, you know. But there was a lot of work ethic, mixed with a lot of partying. Then came my generation, being raised by these motherfuckers who are out partying all the fucking time, or getting divorced because it was the cool thing to do. I remember in grade school, it was a big deal when you heard about a kid and his parents were getting divorced. You're like, oh, your parents getting divorced. Oh, no. By high school, it was so normal. It was like, oh, you too, huh? Yeah. Now everybody uses the excuse for why their lives are fucked up. I'm not saying that's not the reason why your lives are fucked up, but god damn, I mean, and forgive me for that, Lord, but I mean, really, that wasn't a negative, goddamn. It's just like a frustrated, like, Jesus, when are you going to just, okay, you figured it out, that's why you're like that, and it might be a negative thing about you, then fix it. If it's a positive thing about you, fucking build on it, you know? Some of the weird things that we have about ourselves, people just love the shit out of. And then sometimes just the sound of your voice can irritate the hell out of somebody. You can't please everybody, right? But for some reason or another, if someone disagrees with someone, it becomes a big issue. Next thing you know, they're talking about it on the main media. They said this. Ooh, we got to go back in their history. Oh, they said this at one point in time. They said this at one point in time. Look, you can't change history, folks. I don't know what kind of weird fantasy world that everybody's living in. Maybe everybody's waking up and realize they're in the Matrix. You could just change shit, right? But I don't think that's happened yet. So, history is history. It's like I talked about in the pledge, the last podcast. When I say the Pledge of Allegiance, I look at the flag as what the flag means to me today, what I'm hanging on to, what I'm fighting for, the freedoms I'm still trying to hang on to through this flag, because it wasn't supposed to happen. We were never supposed to be here, this free country of America. No, Britain was a pretty tight ruler, but if there was this ocean in between us and them, and we just kind of had the advantage here and the willpower, and we didn't want to pay taxes anymore. And what is wrong in today's society? We are overtaxed. But we don't have the balls to fucking fight back against our government, because this is what happened to my generation. My generation was so ignored, we were allowed to go out on weekends. You didn't hear back from your kid unless he decided to pick up the fucking phone, okay? But back then, we weren't cared for. So we kind of were just independent, you know? We figured out things to our friends more than anybody else. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. So we get to have kids. And what did we do? Well, I'm not going to be like my daddy. I'm not going to be like my mom. I'm not going to be that. I'm going to make this kid feel like the most special motherfucker in the whole world. This is the best thing in the planet. Oh, look at you. You are so great. Everybody, oh, they're liars. It's just lies. Even about Santa Claus, everything's just a basic lie to this kid. You're number one. I came in third. You're a winner. No, you fucking lost, okay? But you don't get to suffer that defeat, because you get to still be rewarded for it. We overcoddled. We made sure they were the number one thing in the world. And I'm scared. I'm not sure yet how this new generation is turning out with their kids. But I've got a feeling they're going to be the partiers that leave the kids kind of being hung on to by grandma and grandpa. Sort of like mine. I was closer to my grandparents than my parents, because my parents were all out splitting up and living their lives and doing whatever the fuck. Okay? So, and that's what happened to a lot of us. And it fucked up our family values. We were the first generation where that was broken. If you look at Woodstock 69 to Woodstock 99, even 94. 94 was kind of a good little mixture. I like 94. It was one of my favorites. That was Mudstock. But 69 was totally free. Everybody worked together. It was all about love. There was bad drugs out there. They got on the mic and said, don't take the... But anyway, and then you got a 99 where it's a complete angry rage where they literally burnt down the event at the end of it. I mean, literally. Angry music, just it really fit the mood. It really did. We were so pissed off as a generation because we were ignored, forgotten about, and we went and did our own thing and kind of disconnected from society as a whole. But then when we had kids, we made them so fucking special that they could go out and rule the world. But what they didn't learn is how to handle things on their own. To be failures, to make mistakes, and go through those hard times. Because, and I'm not saying those things aren't going to happen to them, but it's really much harder for them to grasp it and go through it at a later point in life than rather early on. Early on, it's easy to go through bad things and get through them and learn from them quickly, and they don't really scar you. But when you get older and you go through basic things you should have already gone through, and I'm talking about failures and being a fuck up and a loser and all that kind of fun shit that everybody gets to go through, then you would have, by an adult, been like, whatever, and not bother you. Water off a duck's back, right? But no, instead we coddled all these kids to the point where they're now adults and they're having a stressful fucking time. And and so they feel like they could just rewrite history or cancel this. All this power that just doesn't exist. And it's split us down the middle. It really has. And I believe that the only way we can ever come together is to not do what I also said last night in the last episode, is not to be so racist politically. Look, if you don't listen to somebody because of what their political affiliate is, then you're doing it wrong, okay? That's not how politics work. Politics work to where you have groups that represent different types of people in this fucking country, because that's what it is, and they come together to work on an agreement for everybody to be happy with, to appease everybody, even though not everything that everybody wants, everybody gets. That's just life, okay? You're not gonna get it, ever, okay? Even if you created AI, it would figure out you're annoying enough to get rid of and extinct off the planet. That's going to happen. I mean, Terminator and The Matrix, boy, those are some futuristic down-the-road movies for us. I don't think I'm going to make it that far, but yeah. So the generation gap and what technology has definitely done with it by exposing so much, of everybody's feelings and specialness among each other, and how special my life is, and look what I'm doing, and I'm trending, and I'm viral, and I'm just as cool as the other person that did the same thing in their TikTok. It's just like we have that human nature to want to be like I admired Indiana Jones so much as a kid that I even had a little fedora hat, and I had a whip. I actually had a whip that was made out of leather. And, I was Indiana Jones, but I wasn't. I'm a little boy, a little Davy Tuttle, and just running around and having fun. But now I'm SimplySuperDave. I'm almost 50 years old. I can still remember that feeling as a kid and pretending to be a certain thing. And I even go a step further. My grandmother had these leather boots that had zippers on the side, and I know what you're thinking. But back in the late '60s and stuff, they had some pretty fucking pleather fucking shit. And Wonder Woman was a big thing on the show, and I used to put I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7, but I put my leg in these boots that went all the way up, it's like pants, but and I would zip them up, and I was imitating Wonder Woman with her boots, and does that make me gay? Does it make me, whatever? No, it doesn't, because I'm not, but it's nothing wrong with thinking that, or trying on, a pair of woman's boots when you're 7 years old, because you know why? You're just living life. You don't really put any thought into it like that. That's outside influence affecting you thinking about what you're doing. It's an innocent little moment that's over in 10 seconds, but you'll remember for the rest of your life because it's stupid and funny. But, like, my girlfriend's probably going to get a kick out of that, and she's going to razz me for it. But I expect that from her. That's why I love her, And that's why I love life. Life is what you make it. It is your bubble, folks. It is the very thing that keeps us all going, is our strive to build our own little bubble. So right now, in this crazy world that we're living in and everything going on, fuck the TV, fuck the media. Pay attention to what's going on outside. Realize, you know what? I forgot what country it was. Another country, a bunch of frustrated people created their own party. Get this. And not only that, but at the election, Norway, I want to say it's Norway, voted in a new fucking lead party. Just a new political party out of nowhere, based on free people, mostly farmers, I think is what it was. And they fucking won the election. No shit. Changed the whole political spectrum of that country. That is exactly what we need to do here. And seeing that happen in another country, you know what? I almost feel like America's like the Detroit Lions, okay? I want to believe in them so fucking much, but I just know they're just going to fuck up again. And that's where we're at. And I'm looking at Norway thinking, damn, they're playing like the fucking Green Bay Packers. I hate to admit that. But we haven't won a Super Bowl yet. We won championships in the 50s, but there wasn't a Super Bowl yet. We haven't won a Super Bowl. I'm a big Lions fan. So I know failures when I see it from afar, and I know America's headed down that path. A lot of promise and a lot of talk from Lazy Joe, who, if he can remember to get through a sentence and where he's at, to Donald Trump, who is actually starting to look like a genius at this point, considering how much he scared the hell out of me when he got elected, because I did think World War III would happen under his... Now that I'm going through this with Joe, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Joe, Donald's an asshole or whatever, but at least I had money in the bank whenever he was in charge. So now we've had a dose of each one. Which one are you going to pick? Because we both know no one's going to vote third party, right? No one's going to do the obvious, turn their back on them. Be real true patriots for freedom. And vote differently. Because that's your power, folks. I'm getting really serious here for a second because I'm not fucking joking. It is the only way to change our political field. Create a third party based on people that we trust, freedom, middlemen. Use the internet for what it's good for. You're not going to get on TV. Main media will keep you blacked out from any other choices but what they want in front of you. You really have to find your candidate and the person you believe in through media. There is a woman named Marianne Williamson, I think that's her name. Look her up. That's a good start from an opposite direction. I think she's going to be one of the two major parties, though. I'm really going all third party. I don't care who it is. If you're looking on the list and it's Libertarian, Green Party, blah, blah party, just pick one from each. Just don't pick a Republican or a Democrat. Don't vote for either one of those two parties. If we had a majority of America did that, we would fuck up some shit. And it would be good because it would be in the people's interest and not those political parties' agendas that we have been forced to live by for decades upon decades, I dare say century, at least a century or so. It's been 100 years too long, folks, okay? And it needs to happen now. If you're not awake yet, I don't know what this world can throw at you to wake you up, because you couldn't sleep through everything that's happened in the last 3 years. It's been a whirlwind, and it's forced. There's things happening right now that we think is movie-like, but let's face it, folks, life is way stranger than fiction. And the only way to handle it, sometimes you just need some popcorn. If you're not in the middle of some drama or something's really going in your life, really take a moment. Sit back, sit on the patio, enjoy the nice air. Take off the shoes, put your feet in the grass. Let your soul really connect to the ground. And I'm talking about the soles of your feet. Think about it. Why are they called soles? Why is it important that we shouldn't have rubber soles on our feet? I don't know if I could be more honest about things than I have been in this very podcast. I'm not tearing down generations, okay? It's not our kids' faults that we coddled them so much and put them where they are, okay? Just like it wasn't our fault that our parents were never there or didn't care like they do today. And it even goes worse back than that, folks. You go back to that, it used to be basically child labor in the yard, folks. I mean, kids today playing on their phones, doing different things, being able to be creative, being on any kind of team of doing anything, karate, baseball, basic sports, bowling, art, all kinds of stuff. I don't care. Music, everything, cheerleading, whatever you want, there's an avenue for it here in this country. And wouldn't it be great if we just had a little bit more freedom to that? And people that are in charge that understand what it's like to pay for gas at the pump, to go in the store and get their own groceries, to pay their own bills. We need more leadership that's based on people that understand life and not want to control it. But it can't happen unless we have people that actually want to talk to one another and not shut down on one another. To not give in to the hate and fear that everybody is just wearing like a badge of honor because it's the cool thing to do. To hate somebody because they're a Trump supporter. To hate somebody because they're a crazy liberal. We need both of you motherfuckers at the party. It doesn't work without you. But one of you wanting to kick the other one out makes me not like the other one either. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are becoming the bad guys by just doing what everybody else does. Life isn't a fad. It isn't a meme. It's not viral. It's constant. And it's there no matter what. We're living in a crazy time. So it's always wise to be informed, to think on your own, to make your own perspective, to build your own bubble of positive energy. Energy is, of course, the very thing I believe in most of all. And what I like to try to do is try to keep my angry, bad vibes as low as possible and out, and try to give as much positive out more, and try to keep it like 80-20 on a daily basis. You know, I accept there's going to be some bad moments in my day, but every now and then there's a 99% day of goodness, but there's also been those 99% days of badness. So that's life. Don't wake up. Don't try to control it. It's uncontrollable. Quit looking for the truth so much that you have to judge others. Quit blaming others for history. That's just the way it was. Care about today a little bit more. And if you really truly believe in freedom, then you'll stop caring about what the person next door is doing. Remember who you are. And I mean really who you are. You're not your name. You're not your body. You're really not. That's just your body. It's your body. But who's your body belong to? You. But who are you? Oh, you're You're Bob. But Bob is your name. So that's your name. So the name belongs to who? You? Who are you? You're white? Are you white? Or were you just born white? You didn't get a choice in that. So, I mean, that's not who you are. I'm straight. What's that got to do with who I am? That's just my sexual preference. And two straight people can get together and have a kid that ends up being gay. You can't control that. That's a genetic thing, in my opinion. Because genetic as far as the mind goes, at least. I don't think there's a biological part that's missing or anything. I think it's a frame of mind. Again, it's about perspective. And I've been friends with every types of person I can possibly come across. And when I have been around people that helped me open that door to understand that kind of thinking, and from like an early age, and these were people that were deep rooted with me, so I was never going to abandon them. So it was something I had, I embraced, and I went to clubs and had fun, but I was honest about who I was, and I was treated just like a tourist on a vacation or something, This is what we do, and it's kind of like a little show, and it's very fun. And I wouldn't change anything about that. And I love everybody, for whatever their background is. But at the same time, I'm going to critique you for who you are, If I'm going to make a gay joke, I'm going to make it to a gay person because I think that would be funny. And plus, that'd give them their chance to make their straight jokes to me. I like taking it as, look, if I can dish it out, then I can take it. And I think that's what's missing with a lot of you folks out there. You can't take it. You can dish it, but you can't take it. It just can't. Burns at you so much, it just gives you fucking anxiety. You're going to lose your fucking minds. Bro, you gotta let it go. That's what we need to learn. That's one of the great things whenever, our generation, you didn't have cell phones. You couldn't take pictures of everything that happened in your fucking life. If something tragic happened, or if you fucking were all alone and you fell, or you failed at something, there was nobody there to pick you up. There was nobody there to comment on your fucking bad day and make you feel better. None of that. None of that. What the fuck? Nah. You just fucking dealt with it. You put yourself through your own torment and hell until you finally opened your fucking mouth to someone. Literally. Oh my God. It's fascinating to live in this world today where you cannot literally get away from anything. I don't care where you go. Hide under what bridge you may. But if you got this little device, this little apple of knowledge, the connection to the beast itself, the internet, then you are on a leash, my friend. You are the puppet. And with that, I'll leave you with a little love and laughter. Carry on to the next day, which is hump day, halfway through the week almost, and I hope you enjoyed your Tuesday as we finish out this last week of April, rolling into May, and heading to our 100th episode and the end of the first season of the SimplySuperDave experience. And maybe the only season. Hell, I don't know. But 100, we're just trying to get to that. So I hope everybody had a great night. And like I said, a little love and laughter. Try it out. Conquers all that hate and fear that you got in your heart, because we all have it. We all have it. So be the fucking conqueror. Don't be the fucking victim. And don't be afraid to fail, because it's getting up is what builds your strength.